Slight delay. All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Anchor Bay School Board of Education meeting. At this time, I'd like to call the order for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Mr. Vincelli, you'd like to roll call?
Yes. Mr. Powers,
Here.
Miss Berkmeyer,
Here.
Mr. Vinatelli's here, Mr. Sunnyberger,
Here.
Miss Knox,
Here.
Mr. Covert,
Here.
Mr. Richards.
Here.
Everyone is here, sir.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. All in favor, say aye. I'm sorry, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Any discussion first?
No.
No? All right. Next item is going to be the kaleidoscope.
We got to approve the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right,
Yeah, just take roll. It's easier.
that's 2 votes. All right. Call the roll, please.
Okay. Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Miss Berkmeyer.
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli's yes, Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Miss Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Richards.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, next item. Be the kaleidoscope.
Okay, good evening, board. Tonight we are lucky and fortunate to have some very students that were awarded a writing award through the Michigan Association of Reading. Every school was invited to participate in a deserving student to be recognized for their work. So you should have a packet in front of you with the students that were selected as building winners. And tonight we are going to recognize those kaleidoscope winners. They were also invited to come to Lansing at the 70th MRA conference in a special published authors luncheon. And so we'd like to recognize our writers at this time. Okay, so can we start with Ashley Elementary? And we will have our principals or teacher introduce our building winners.
Good evening, board. We would like to recognize Callie Jerome from Ashley Elementary. Callie is a 3rd grade student at our building, and she is a phenomenal writer. Callie was very excited to write a personal narrative about her twin cousins being born. Callie did a great job utilizing all kinds of aspects of writing in her piece, using voice, sharing her excitement, and giving us a lot of details. Ashley Elementary was very proud of Callie and her work. Her teacher, Miss Banky, has a few words also.
I cannot say enough about Callie as a student. She is not only a fantastic writer all of the time, she's so excited about it as well in the classroom, but she is an awesome student and a leader. She puts all of her effort into her work all of the time, and she's a great leader, not just in my classroom, but at Ashley. So I'm very proud of you and congratulations.
Okay, next we have Great Oaks Elementary.
Okay, welcome everybody. Very proud to introduce Yulia Seal, who is actually a Miss Steps second grade student at Great Oaks. And she has the honor, I can't talk before I started at Great Oaks, but she's the youngest student that's won Kaleidoscope since I've been at Great Oaks, and that's for over 10 years. So that's quite an honor to have a second grade student win that. Part of the reason Julia's poem, Do You Know My Worm, is a wonderful example of how powerful student writing can be. Through vivid description, repetition, and detail, she brings an ordinary earthworm to life in a way is both imaginative and informative. Her work reflects not only strong writing skills, but also curiosity in the natural world. Julia, we're incredibly proud of you for your accomplishment, and congratulations. Great job.
Okay. And next we have Lighthouse Elementary.
I'm Chris Lefevre. I'm the principal at Lighthouse, and I got the honor of giving our award to Lucas Nezalevich. Lucas is here with Miss Leone. He worked very hard on his writing, and he picked a nervous but also scary time in your life, right? So he went to a water park this summer, and he used a bunch of big words that we have in third grade and great descriptors, and he used some action words in it also that made his writing really stand out, and everybody picked his anonymously as one of the best pieces of writing, because not only did he talk about a nervous time, like I mentioned, but he talked about a time when it was excited, but he overcame a huge fear and went up the big water slide. Yes, Lucas is very exciting. He loves public speaking, and he has a big speech for us, right, Lucas? No. All right. Congratulations, Lucas.
And next we have Lottie Elementary.
I'm Yolanda White. I'm the principal at Lottie Elementary, and I have the privilege of having Carter Seal here, another Seal, but not related. I just found out for sure. And Carter is a very quiet young man, but a quiet leader. He's a great guy in our school. And I was just so excited when I saw his writing because he wrote a piece called Buddy, the Never Giving Up Dog. And, you know, we had a whole bunch of pieces submitted, but this one really stood out because the theme, you know, the dog not giving up, which is a little different, which I thought was really cool because the dog wasn't giving up on building a bridge across the stream so he could get to the other side where he wanted to. But it really stood out because of the language that he used, a lot of the descriptive language. And so the teachers unanimously voted for this one as well. And then when I talked to his mom and to Carter, I found out he actually wants to be an author when he grows up. And I said, guess what? You're already a published author, so this is pretty cool. So great job, Carter. We're very proud of him.
And next we have McCants Elementary.
Hi, I'm Vincenta Giorgio. I am a fourth grade teacher at McCants Elementary. This is my student, Justin. Justin did his story or wrote his story called The Girl Who Became a Police Officer. Not only did he do an awesome job at writing and doing all the things that good writers do, But Justin is just an awesome kid. He is another quiet leader. He has integrity. He always does the right thing. He follows all the rules. He helps when anyone needs help, and he's just a really great kid. So I am very honored and proud to give you this award, Justin.
And then we have Naldred Elementary.
Hi, I'm Megan Lembus. I am the principal at Naldra Elementary, and I am proud to present to you our Kaleidoscope winner, Kennedy Groller, and then Miss Baumgarten is her teacher, her fourth grade teacher, so she's gonna talk to you. So Kennedy wrote an exceptional piece this year that touched a lot of our hearts. It was about how her cat passed, and she went through a really hard time from it. And if you know Kennedy, she has a lot of voice. She really has a lot of expression. She's just a sheer delight. And when you read her piece or read her piece, you can see that voice coming right through. She used figurative language to talk about the heartbreak. And also, she actually did not think that the cat was ever going to be not replaced, but even she would ever be able to have another pet like the pet she had. And she found that her heart is big enough for two or more. So it was a wonderful piece. Congratulations, Kennedy. We're so proud of you.
Okay, Middle School North.
Good evening. I'm Trish Gerke, LA teacher at Anchor Bay Middle School North, and this is Olivia. And I was so proud that she got this award. She really put a lot of special meaning into it. It was a real laid back assignment. You know, it was like we were in a literacy center, and I'm like, oh, do a roll of story. They had to roll dice. And they had to choose characters, antagonist, protagonist, and they had to have a conflict, and they had to have some figurative language. And Olivia wrote, it was short and sweet and to the point, and it was so cute. I wish I could read it to you, but I can't because nobody else did. But when we went to Lansing and I met with her family, we had such a beautiful day that day. Her mom told me something special about this story. It was about how a little squirrel needed to get nuts, and they found this big, beautiful nut pile, but the coyote was standing over it and couldn't get to it. And she's like, oh no, my mom's going to be so upset. And then a hero came in and saved the day, and it was her dog, Mac. Mac came in and scared the coyote away. Well, when we went and had lunch in Lansing, we found out that the family had just put Mac down a couple days prior to her writing this story. So the story was a real tribute to her best friend, Mac. So, Olivia, I'm so proud to give this award to you. Good job.
Okay, Middle School South.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Deegan. I teach seventh grade at Middle School South, and I had the pleasure of having Avery last year in seventh grade. And my students have always participated in a contest from the VFW in New Baltimore called the Patriots Pen. And Avery won last year and was recognized by the VFW. And so we had the honor of being there and celebrating her writing then. And this year, when we were looking for a piece, Avery had entered the Patriots Pen again in eighth grade, and she didn't win this year, but Sandy Van Team from the VFW said Avery has a true gift of writing. And I couldn't agree more. Her piece this year was patriotism and support to our country. And it's about a teenager thinking about patriotism and what kids her age can do for our country. And it was a beautiful piece. And I'm proud to say Avery is a two-time published author. So congratulations, Avery. I'm very proud of you. Congratulations.
Hey. So thank you. This concludes our recognition of our published authors tonight. If we want to give everybody a round of applause.
And then we'll have them come up to the stage for a picture with the board.
Sure. If we could have the teachers and principals come up behind your author, that'd be great. Thank you. Come on up.
All right. Thank you very much. Moving on. Next item is going to be the Teacher of the Year.
It's me again. Okay, well, this is a very exciting time. We are, Mr. McDonald and I are going to recognize the elementary and the secondary's Teachers of the Year. Okay, so at this time, can I have Kelly Samarick come on up? Thank you. Okay. This is an exciting night. So Kelly has been with Anchor Bay since 2023. She's one of our Anchor Bay science teachers, but she has been a teacher since 2010 in a neighboring district as well. And just a few words that I'd like to share about Kelly is when I really think about her is just a true passion for teaching and learning, especially in the area of science. She just has a true gift that she has. If you go into her classroom, you just see it's very active, it is very hands-on and just very full of smiles. So just a little bit more about Kelly. She really serves as a role model, demonstrating how to utilize resources that are available for her students, really just all across in the local community, as well as within the MDE, the Department of Natural Resources as well. She makes connections with local farmers. She participates in many different community initiatives. And really, I'd like to just kind of just share that Kelly just really believes that all students they deserve to have those experiences within science that are really exciting and hands-on, and she just makes learning fun. So just a little bit more to add about Kelly is that if you were to ask someone about going into teaching, or what kind of advice would you give to someone that wants to become a teacher, Kelly kind of just shared that they really need to love learning, and Kelly loves learning. She never wants to stop learning. She would give the advice to an upcoming individual that wants to become a teacher to be positive and to really look for an authentic support system, and to take advantage of as much professional development as possible. So Kelly also stated that teaching is like parenting. So this was kind of funny. It can make you laugh and it can make you cry at the same time. It is incredibly challenging, but you have the opportunity to guide, to prepare, to inspire, and to educate. These could be, your students could be future moms, dads, leaders, public servants, inventors, engineers, and educators. So if you have the love for every student and the work ethic as Kelly has, then you should pursue the career in teaching because teaching will be right for you and she loves it. So congratulations to Kelly Samirik.
All right. Good evening, board. We have the pleasure of introducing to you the middle school and high school teachers of the year. And we're going to start with middle school. And this year's middle school teacher of the year is Lana Kinninger. Lana, can you come up? Hi. Lana has been with us since 2023, and she's been a teacher just a little longer than that, but she's came from a neighboring district. But I found it very impressive that in that short amount of time that she stood out amongst her peers, and she quickly earned the respect of not only her peers, but the administrators, and most importantly, her students and their parents. She teaches sixth grade ELA at Middle School North. I'm going to read just a few excerpts from her nomination packet. One of her colleagues is here that nominated her. Lana is a leader in the special ed department at Middle School North. She advocates for special ed students across the district. She mentors new teachers and works collaboratively with her general education peers to ensure an equitable education for all students. Something that stands out about Lana is that she instills confidence in her students by providing a safe and challenging learning environment, allowing them to be successful at their grade level standards. A quote directly from the colleague that nominated her is, Lana is one of the most passionate educators I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I'm inspired daily by her continued support of all students, not just hers. Another statement from a parent of one of her students, Mrs. Kinninger, is a teacher that always goes above and beyond for her students. She supports her students' needs while making it a comfortable place for every student to learn. Her kindness and the way she taught really helps each child gain the best learning experience. And I was blessed to have her as my son's teacher. She has made a difference in my boy's life. I will forever be grateful. She is so deserving of this award. Your middle school teacher of the year, Miss Lana Kinninger. All right. For high school, our high school teacher of the year is Catherine Engelhardt. Catherine, can you come on up? All right, I'll tell you a little bit about Catherine and why she was nominated for Teacher of the Year for Anchor Bay at the high school. She's been a teacher in Anchor Bay for 25 years. She's a leader in the special education department at the high school. And I would echo this. I've known her for a long time. She is a true child advocate. She creates lessons that are tailored for her students' individual needs. She believes in creating a personalized, data-driven, supportive learning environment. Outside the classroom, she collaboratively works with parents and outside agencies to ensure her students are successful beyond high school. Catherine mentors new teachers by providing them with classroom management and behavior supports, establishing daily routines, and federal compliance procedures. Catherine has taught some of the more challenging students. She takes the time to understand the why behind those challenging behaviors. She implements personalized interventions that supports positive behaviors. Catherine greets, some examples of that. Catherine greets her students at the door to set a positive and welcoming tone. She gets to know their unique story and kind of what makes them tick. She makes authentic connections by investing in their lives outside of the classroom, by attending sporting events and other school activities. Those are just a few examples why Catherine is our high school teacher of the year. I'm going to throw in, she's also a former middle school teacher of the year, by the way. That was 2004. And I was the assistant principal at Middle School North when she was the teacher of the year there. And I can tell you that all the things I mentioned today were true then, were true then as they are today. Catherine Engelhardt, high school teacher of the year. All right, we want to get everyone up and get a picture. Come on up.
But I'm not getting in the picture. You're the teacher.
Get in there. Yes. Oh, we can. Anybody want to take a picture? Feel free as well.
All right. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is going to be a DECA presentation.
Good evening, board and Superintendent Jankowski. My name is Jacob Yono, and I'm a business teacher at the high school. I'm the advisor of our DECA chapter as well. So first off, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. And I'd like to recognize here with me just a few of some outstanding achievements that we've had with our students within the last month. So last month, 45 of our students out of our 100 plus members in our chapter, we traveled downtown Detroit to compete against about 8,000 others from around the state for the State Career Development Conference. It's our state level of competition for a chance to win a state championship. So with me tonight are 6 members of our 9 total winners that we had. So we had 9 total state champions that we came away from the conference with. 4 of the students additionally were state finalists, and then we had 1 student who was elected to the highest leadership position that a DECA member could hold in Michigan. Our chapter was also recognized and awarded 3 awards with distinction, and our school-based enterprise, which is our N42 Cafe, and the student managers who have planned and operated it, they both were awarded accreditation from DECA for our operation. So I'd just like to recognize each of the students individually for their achievements in front of their family and their guests. A few of them could not be with us tonight. A couple of them are at the high school playing soccer, and a few of them have some extracurricular conference. So I wanted to recognize them. Junior Leah McKernan from the high school was a state finalist in automotive services. Junior Alexa Vandevegate was a state finalist in apparel and accessories. And junior Grant Vandevegate was a state finalist in sports and entertainment marketing. So they could not be with us tonight, but I wanted to recognize them for their achievement. And then also the team of Addison Callahan, Delaney Callahan, and Nolan Van Acker, they were tasked with taking the role of consultants in the category of buying and merchandising, and they put together a strategic plan for social responsibility and presented it to Hollister, and they were named state champions in their event. With me then tonight I'd like to first recognize Emma and Lily, if you would. We have Emma Boschman and Lily Markle. They were both named state champions in their event in the category of entrepreneurship, team decision making. So congratulations, Emma and Lily. Our next, yes, yeah. Our next state finalist with us is Dominic Sarcone. Dominic, if you would. Dominic was named a state finalist in his event in the category of entrepreneurship. So congratulations, Dom. And then we had the team of Madison Borg and Aubrey Bakarowski and Angelica Medley. Good, please. So this team was tasked with, in the category of finance operations research, this team was tasked with evaluating Deloitte's social responsibility practices, and then they took the role of consultants. They went and they made a presentation on Deloitte and a strategic plan to implement for them, and they were awarded state champions for that. So congratulations, team. And then lastly is junior Vivan Jain. Vivan was named a state champion in his event marketing communications series. So congratulations, Vivan. And Vivan also had another component to his state competition this year. So I've had the pleasure of being Vivan's teacher and advisor for the last 3 years since he was a freshman who came up into our program. And from the minute I met Vivan, he was kind of something clicked right away with DECA for him, and he has been really the face or the voice of our program for many years now. And one of the conversations that we had when he was a freshman, when he attended his first conference, when he did his first competition, was he was always looking to sort of interject his opinion on the operation of Michigan DECA in their chapter, and in a very positive way. And so, just like the real world, when you see an opportunity for change, or if you see an opportunity to kind of help be the driver of change, you're always recommended to do things like run for political office or run for some type of leadership role. So Vivan had some time in Michigan DECA to kind of discern and come up with ideas. And he made the decision, really, I think it was your freshman year, but he made the decision earlier this summer to run for state office for Michigan DECA, which is essentially a leadership team of students that gets elected by their peers and advisors and the Michigan DECA staff from across the state to represent the over 20,000 members that Michigan DECA has. So we're incredibly proud of Vivan. He put together a campaign, and some of the things that he really focused on in his campaign were making things like participating in CTSOs and DECA accessible financially for students across the state. And he also made it a really big point in his campaign to really advocate for what we do in CTE and how it connects to the real world and show some type of meaning behind what is done in our CTE classrooms. So we're incredibly proud of you, Vivan. I will say, there's not many times I get emotional in life, but when you were elected, I was very emotional. So we're proud of you. And I wanted to test his public speaking skills a little bit because he's going to have a lot of appearances over the next year. So Vivan, would you mind just saying a couple words?
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. My name is Vivan Jain, and as Mr. Yono just mentioned, earlier this month, I was elected as Michigan DECA state president. The application process and election process was lengthy and extremely rigorous, including written examinations, personal interviews, campaigning, delivering 2 speeches, one to the state director and a screening committee, and another to over 5,000 of my fellow peers and chapter advisors at the State Career Development Conference. I began this process in late September and worked diligently throughout the state conference to achieve this goal. But truly, this opportunity would not have been possible without the support of several individuals. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Mr. Jankowski and Ms. Kenward for the letters of recommendation and their continuous support throughout my DECA journey. Moreover, I'd like to thank Ms. Pichon for being one of my biggest advocates and supporters during my campaign process. And finally, I'd like to thank my advisor, Mr. Yono, for providing me with enriching opportunities every day. Whether it's offering real world experience in the N42 Cafe or teaching leadership through leadership team meetings or supporting us in competition and preparing us to compete or being there every step of the way in my campaign process, his impact has been extremely valuable to me. And it's because of these opportunities and these experiences Mr. Yono has created for me that has given me the ability to grow into the leader I am today and ultimately be elected to serve as Michigan DECA's state president. I look forward to represent Anchor Bay and make a lasting positive impact across Michigan DECA. Thank you very much.
And so congratulations again, Vivon. Again, we're very proud of you, and you have a heck of a year ahead of you, but we will be cheering you on every step of the way. So with that, I also just wanted to recognize a couple of our chapter achievements that we have that, we kind of work in. It's more of a chapter effort to put these together, but we were awarded in 3 different chapter campaigns for our service and continuing Michigan DECA's growth and community service. So I want to just recognize the students who contributed to that. And then it was a big success for us this year, and it was kind of our theme was, recently, if you've came into the commons of the high school after January 1st, you typically will smell the food from the lunch line, but then recently you started to smell maybe the smell of espresso coming from center commons here and there. And so that is coming from that little cave underneath the clock that was formerly, I guess, our school store or the nautical shop that a group of students and I last May got together and we had a couple of needs that we wanted to fulfill for our CTE department and really the student bodies. So we set off in May of last year to kind of remodel the school store using the resources that we had over the years that were given to us, and really kind of reimagine or repicture it and make it a way in which we could, one, support our CTSOs in the long run, and then also serve the students' need, the changing need for things like coffee and a space to socialize and create that. So we set out on that process. We were seeking accreditation from DECA, and DECA offers this program that kind of ties into the curriculum and everything that we do kind of has to meet standards, just like everything else is kind of accredited in the corporate world. And so those students and I set off from the planning and designing of the cafe to, how do we integrate all of these different standards like financial operations and marketing, information management, and a whole different bunch of categories in terms of business standards that we met. And so I want to recognize those students. A few of them are not able to be here with us. Again, I mentioned they're at the high school, but Vivon Jane was one of the proponents of implementing that school store. I also want to recognize Leah McKernan, Brooke LaPlante, Vatina DiGiuseppe, and Addison Callahan. So they have been instrumental. They worked throughout the summer with me to put that cafe together, and really it is an awesome achievement. So I'm happy to report for the first time in the formerly Nautical Shop's history that the school store is accredited, both the gold certified, which is the highest accreditation you can get in both our cafe and our retail operations. So I wanted to recognize those students and their achievements there. So Vivon is with us, but I want to recognize that. So with that, I'm incredibly proud of these students. I am really happy to report that this is obviously the most successful year that we've had in our DECA chapter, and we continue to grow. But all of that is, through the support, like Vivon mentioned, of you, the board, Mr. Jankowski, our CT8 director, Ms. Kenward, and all the advocates that we have at the high school, including Ms. Petron and everyone who helps to support us. So I again wanted to congratulate. The next stop for our state champions is the international conference where they'll compete with students around the world. And for Mr. Jane, he's already rolled his sleeves up and began working for his 20,000 members across the state. So congratulations again. And board, if you wouldn't mind, if we can grab a quick photo with you guys.
All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the basketball student recognition. Mr. Spiza.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. Tonight, I would like to recognize an outstanding achievement that one of our student athletes by the name of Julia Takacic, who recently became the all-time leading scorer in our girls basketball program with an incredible 1,203 career points, surpassing the previous record of 1,084 career points. This accomplishment represents more than just a number. It reflects years of hard work, dedication, and commitment to our team. Julia is a tremendous representative of our school through her leadership, sportsmanship, and work ethic, and she is a great example of what student athletes represent in our district. To recognize this incredible milestone, we will be presenting Julia with a customized basketball commemorating her 1,203 career points as a small token of how proud we are of her accomplishments and the legacy she leaves in our program. Julia, records may be broken, but the standard you set through your character, dedication, and leadership will leave a lasting impact on the program for years to come. Congratulations on an amazing career and an amazing record.
All right. Next item is unified basketball presentation.
Yeah, so you guys should have an information packet that we kind of I put together for you guys in regards to unified basketball. So what unified basketball is it's a combination of 2 varsity players, either from the boys or the girls team, and 3 of our special education kids based high school age. So the MAC conference is starting a league that combines schools that could fund it and that have the opportunity to have the kids that want to do it. I know that with the kids that we have in our school, they all play down the road at Sports Academy, I believe it's called, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They play basketball there. So I thought, why not have the opportunity and ask for your guys' blessing and permission to bring that into our schools. So that way they can represent Anchor Bay, play other kids from other districts, and have a great experience and, represent Anchor Bay and wear the uniform. In that packet, it should have what the uniforms will look like, the reversible uniforms. So that way it's just one set of uniforms. And then there is some of the additional costs that I'm kind of envisioning of what it would be in regards to basketballs. Coaches would be volunteers. And I believe our security guard by the name of Mike Downey is willing to be our volunteer coach for it. And when this takes place, it takes place in the winter in between JV and varsity games. So for example, if we're playing a Chip Valley school, Dakota, I know for a fact that they have a team. They will send their unified team with their boys or girls team, and they will play in between the JV and varsity. It's a 30-minute game. It's 2 15-minute running clocks, and it's a way for our kids to get on the court and play. So with the 3 kids that are out there, it also has, like previously mentioned, the 2 students that are part of the varsity team. And it's a way just to, kind of keep the flow of the game. And sometimes the games can get a little chaotic, but it's a way to just kind of stick it to the schedule and give the kids, like I said, an opportunity. And I worked with Frank a little bit, and in that cost that I presented in the packet, 2,000 of it should get wiped away. However, with working with Frank, we have to submit a bunch of documents to the Special Olympics, and they kind of will reimburse up to $2,000 of what we would envision in our spending. The reason I'm asking for the additional funding is for just to kind of get everything up front and moving, so that way we can kind of have all the things in place that we need, so that we can present it to the families and kind of see where we sit and how we can make it and make it good for our kids. And if you guys have any questions or anything, I can answer them for you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spiza. We don't have the uniforms and then the beginning part of what you said. Who would be playing on this team? We do have the proposed budget in front of us.
So who would be on the team is just be anybody in high school age special education would be that would qualify for it. So if we have a surplus of numbers, you can do two different types of teams. So for example, if we have enough, the cost of the uniforms would go up, but luckily the guy that I'm getting the uniforms from is willing to wipe the cost of what the additional ones would be. So with that, like if say we have 50 kids that want to play, for example, we can send 25 to a different school and then the other 25 could play at home. So we can kind of just flip back and forth. So that way it's no cut. Every kid has the opportunity to play and it's a cool experience for them.
Any other questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Next item is Student Congress update.
Good evening. Good evening, President Richards, members of the Board of Education, and Superintendent Jankowski. At today's Student Congress meeting, we had the pleasure of welcoming 2 therapy dogs and their handlers. Otis, accompanied by his handler Andrea, and Tanner with his handler Sharon, joined us for an engaging and informative session. Students learned about the important role therapy dogs play, the work that they do, and the extensive training required for both the dogs and their handlers to become certified. They also discovered that each therapy dog is only certified to work with one specific handler. In addition, students were introduced to the differences between therapy dogs and service or working dogs, as well as the best practices for safely approaching unfamiliar dogs and encouraging positive interactions. Otis and Tanner both make regular visits to hospitals and schools. Otis also visits colleges and a clinic that serves children under the age of 5 who have been diagnosed with autism. Tanner contributes to the community by making monthly visits to Selfridge Air National Guard Base, where he spends time with service members. Here are this month's building updates. All of the elementary 4th grade students took a trip to Middle School South for a jazz lab performance with our own Student Congress member Eli playing the drums. At Lighthouse Elementary, a door decorating contest was held for March as Reading Month. The Student Council judged in the contest, and the winners are, in 3rd place, Mrs. Simons, in 2nd place, Ms. Garvey, and in 1st place, Ms. Trostowski. The blanket donation at Lighthouse ended, and Miss Garvey's class collected the most blankets. They are also holding a Smensel sale after spring break. At Lottie Elementary, the students are prepping for the M-Step. At Great Oaks, March's Reading Month students received a bingo sheet. Students who fill out the bingo sheet will get tickets to UWM Field. Student council members are also reading to the lower elementary students, and their sucker sale continues, where students can purchase suckers for $1 each until they sell out. At McConn's, the spring dance will be held tomorrow after school. There will be a book battle on Friday, and the 3rd and 4th grade students will battle by answering trivia questions about the school-wide book, which is Andy Lasso Troubles. Ashley, Muffins with Mrs. Will be held after spring break, and students are preparing for the M-Step and NWEA tests. At Naldrit, the Smelly Jelly sale was a success. They raised over $900. The 4th grade students went on a field trip to the DIA on Friday, March 20th. At Middle School North, the Kids Heart Challenge fundraiser winner was Mrs. Bergeron's class. Her class will be traveling to the Shoreliner tomorrow for a breakfast. 3 more Gaga pits have been installed, and the students are loving them. March's Reading Month has also been a great success at Middle School North. Moving to Middle School South, on March 11th, the Students Against Destructive Decisions Club visited to talk to students. On March 13th, there was a school dance from 5 to 7 with a March Madness theme. This week, they are holding a Spirit Week, and each day has a new theme. Friday's theme is going to be sunshine and vacation to prep for spring break. There was a pep assembly on March 20th. Students were able to purchase stickers for 25 cents and tag a teacher with a sticker. The teacher with the most stickers got pied in the face of the pep assembly, and Miss Hollinger and Miss Killinger were the teachers with the most stickers. A student rock, paper, scissors contest was held March 20th, and the winner competed against Mrs. Traub. At the high school, as mentioned previously, DECA competed at the state conference, and there are several student groups attending the international conference in Atlanta in April. The scholarship basketball game held by Student Council was a huge success, and a lot of money was raised for the ABEA scholarship for our seniors. The Student Council is scheduled to visit Middle School South to talk to 8th graders about how awesome the high school Student Council is. And the National Honor Society induction ceremony will be held April 9th. At the high school, spring sports season has also just started, and we are very excited for our student athletes. Thank you so much. This is all I have for you this evening.
Thank you very much. All right, next item is going to be superintendent update.
Okay, while Tim is pulling up the presentation, I'm going to ask Brad Coles from Barton Mallow to come. We're going to go over this is the next phase of the bond construction. So we're looking at, as we talked about in January, when we approved this phase of construction, that we were looking at possible changes that we would do. So Brad is going to kind of walk you through, because we have pricing for that, and he'll walk you through each of the projects. And then if you have any questions, you could feel free to ask.
All right. Good evening, board. As Phil mentioned, my name is Brad Colts with Barton Mallow. This meeting is a continuation of our January meeting where we awarded the bond projects for Ashley, Naldra, and Middle School South. So attached for reference is the letter that we reviewed in January with the direct construction cost total there of $31 million. A brief update on that. Those contracts have already been written and that work is underway. We're very pleased to announce that we've been working in the pull-ahead spaces, particularly at Middle School South. The areas that have been made available to us have been demoed already. And then the contingency there, the 3.1, the standard, for every construction dollar that's included in the bond program, there's 10 cents allocated for a contingency. So that 10% there was awarded as well. And then if you remember, we set aside the $9.7 million there at the bottom for additional projects, value added scope to potentially price out and bring forward to you here tonight. So since the January board meeting, we've been working diligently with the project architect, French Associates. They've been preparing what we call CCDs, which are essentially documents to obtain pricing from the contractors. And attached on here is the summary of those proposal results. Behind this cover sheet is hundreds and hundreds of pages of drawings and proposals, invoices, supporting documentation, which can all be shared with you. But everything kind of wraps up into this summary chart here. And I know it's kind of small and hard to read, but each row represents a company or a trade contractor that's working on the projects, and then each column represents a different CCD, or what we call a pricing or a proposal request documentation. And we had split it up into multiple different CCDs for a couple of different reasons. The first, it made it possible for us to go through and validate the pricing since it was broken out by building and by item. And then the second one would be the more important reason we had it broken out between these multiple items. If we got in a situation where the pricing came back where we couldn't afford to do all of them, then we could, sit here as a group and pick and choose which avenues we wanted to pursue. But we're very thrilled and happy to announce that we can afford everything with the 9.7 budget that was approved in January. All of these CCDs could be approved here tonight if we so choose. And so the total of this chart sums up to $8.5 million, which is 1.2 less than the 9.7 that we talked about last month. And so, if we move forward with all of these things, we could put that plan into place. A high level overview of what these CCDs entail would be the 2 classrooms, additional classrooms at Ashley Elementary. And so the 8 classroom addition that was currently bought out would be expanded to a 10 classroom addition. There was multiple site work options for Ashley Elementary as well that was priced out. And so the numbers here include a new bus loop, which would separate the bus loop from the parent drop-off. These numbers also include the 2 additional classrooms at Naldra Elementary. So that would go from a 4 classroom addition to a 6 classroom addition. And then also the fire suppression work at Middle School South. The one caveat with this analysis here is the CCD 5, which is the item for the Middle School South fire suppression sprinklers. The work that's being presented to you here tonight is all of the work associated with the sprinkler work, less the sprinkler work itself. And so since our January board meeting, we had a great deal of investigative work that we had to do. We had, the city involved. We performed flow tests on the Middle School South building, analyzed the water pressure to the building, performed calculations throughout the building to all the different sprinkler heads required, making sure there was enough pressure and if additional pumps were needed to support that sprinkler system. And so that system is currently out to bid right now. We don't have those results back yet. And so those will be brought forth to you next month at the April board meeting for the sprinkler work associated with that middle school south fire suppression. And so our goal would be to, Tim, if you want to go to the next slide, award the CCD work here tonight for the 8.5, along with the 10% contingency that follows the construction dollars within the bond, and then hold the $1.2 million for next month's award for the sprinkler work, as well as the lights associated with the middle school south new ceilings that are being transferred from the energy bond into our voted bond scope of work. So kind of similarly to what we did in January. You know, our goal would be to award this work here tonight, knowing that we would come back next month and award the sprinklers and the lights when those numbers are finalized, with the 1.2 being the budget for that work. And so, you know, we ask that you take a look at this information here tonight, and if approved, we would like to move forward with unlocking a new set of milestones that this would allow us to do. You know, finalizing the scope, the architect would then be allowed to submit for plan review, which would allow us to call in for our inspections along the way, finalize the building pad scope, the building footprint, so we can get started on putting some temporary fences up at the elementaries, getting started on installing footings and building pads for those new 10 and 6 classroom additions at both elementaries. And that's a summary of what we got here tonight. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, next do we have somebody from Centrix, Todd, or? We're going to go over the energy bond. This is again a continuation of what was approved last month, where we approved for 3 buildings in order to have the boilers and pumps, and then we're just going to kind of go over what the scope of work is that's going to be as part of phase 2 for the boilers, as part of the energy bond work, and then this is part 2 of what will ultimately be a 3-phase project.
Good evening, board. So tonight, we're coming back to you. I think last month we awarded the first phase of the boilers and pumps. We are coming back now this month for the second phase of boilers and pumps. And it's really a combination. The reason we're phasing it is we're trying to do a couple of things here. The engineering behind all of this needs to be accomplished before we can necessarily go out to bid. So by phasing it gives us a little bit of time to do all that engineering. And then in addition to that, we're trying to coordinate it with all of the work that Brad just talked with you about. So we're trying to make sure that we're matching up the work that we're doing from an energy standpoint with the work that we're doing in the buildings that Brad just talked about. So tonight we're going to present to you later today, award recommendation for boilers and pumps at Middle School North, Middle School South, and Ashley and Naldred. Centrex is the group that we have engaged to help us with the engineering and the installation of these boilers and pumps. We are also holding, you can see maybe on your recommendation, we're going to hold an owner contingency on that, and the total price for the project is a little over $3 million, just shy of $3.1 million. In your bid packet, it does speak to this, but we actually awarded to 2 different vendors. So the first award for our elementaries went to Detroit Boiler. They were the low bidder. The Middle School South and Middle School North projects went to Goyette. And if you'll remember at our meeting last month, we awarded to Goyette. So this is another award to them. They were also the low bidder, in fact, and they came through with an alternate for some smaller boilers, which are more efficient. It's an alternate that will save us some money as well as, make sure that we're being ultra efficient with our new equipment. Post-bid interviews were conducted, so they talked with both of these vendors to make sure that they were qualified vendors. We also followed up with references, 3 references for each vendor, and all came back very good. So if there's any questions about the project, I'd be happy to talk with them. We also have a representative here from Centrix that can answer any of your technical questions.
Todd, can you just clarify for us what exactly Centrix does in these bids to add value? Because their fee is roughly, by my rough math, like 15% of the total project cost. I think this one is like 500,000.
Yeah.
On 3 point something. Like what are they doing beyond what the actual contractors are doing that brings value to these projects?
Well, I'll attempt to speak to that, but then we have our expert here. No, they are central to helping us to engineer all of these boilers. They will be putting the controls on them so that we can make sure that we are being able to set them back, remotely like we did tonight. You heard the blowers going. There was a text to Corey, the blowers went off so we could hear everything. The ability to control all of the HVAC is important. Also, they'll be supervising and overseeing all the installation of the project, making sure that the project has been installed as it was bid. And in the end, Centrix is also guaranteeing efficiency on all of these energy measures that we're taking. So we sat down with them, and as a part of our contract, we have certain energy measures that we are hoping that we'll save X amount of dollars. They have guaranteed those X amount of dollars. And so they have a vested interest in making sure that all of that engineering and installation and all of the commissioning takes place in a way that is just as they promised. Because if they aren't able to meet those agreed upon amounts, then they will stroke a check back to Anchor Bay for that. So it's a good incentive for them to make sure that everything is being installed properly. Do you have anything?
Yeah, no, my name's Todd also, Todd Kanan with Centrix. So as part of that performance contract, like Todd had mentioned, I mean, we are doing all of that engineering also. So we're doing all the detailed engineering, putting together all the bid packages, soliciting those out, as well as obviously the most important part, being a performance contractor. Yeah, we are guaranteeing those savings as it pertains to, what's been agreed upon in the contract. So that's definitely something that we're carrying those savings going forward, and we're going to do that measurement verification, with the district as well as the owner's rep that's involved to ensure that those savings are truly met.
If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to take those now.
Okay, thank you. And that concludes the update.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Next item on the agenda is a hearing of the public. I did not receive any slips on that. Next item is going to be the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are of recurring nature and are voted on as a single item. Any board member may request an item be removed without a vote of the board, and it will be discussed and voted upon individually. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, minutes, and personnel report. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Support.
All right. Motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Covert. Like to call the roll?
Okay. Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Ms. Burkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli is yes, Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right. Next item is the MISD Budget Review Delegate. Each year, MISD holds their budget review meeting, asking every school district to send a representative for a presentation regarding county services, programs, and budget review. This year's meeting will be held on April 23rd, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at the Macomb Intermediate School District, room 100. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve someone to represent the Anchor Bay at the MISD budget review on April 23rd. I did ask Mr. Powers, and he is booked that day.
Oh, I was going to make a motion for Mr. Powers. Then I would make a motion for Mr. Vendatelli. He's our former treasurer.
Okay.
I accept these terms.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right.
Can
Any
we
other
get
discussion?
alternate? I
Yeah.
believe we always designate alternate for these.
Did Ms. Berkmeyer go last year?
Will you be in the area this time? Okay. Do you want to go instead of me?
What's it worth?
I mean, what are your demands?
I do like coffee. No, no, I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Do you want to flip flop that then, since Ms. Berkmeyer is going to be in the area anyway? And then I'll go as an alternate.
Sure. Would you like?
Yeah, I will revise my motion to have Ms. Berkmeyer go and Mr. Vendatelli as backup.
All right. Go ahead and call the roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a second?
Sorry.
Ryan.
Right.
Ryan,
Ms. Colby,
thank
yes.
you. I apologize. Okay. Mr. Venatelli is a yes. Mr. Sunnyberger.
Yes.
Yes, I apologize. I went out of order. I should go with who does the motion first. So let's do that now. Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Fantastic. All right. Next item on the agenda is the unified basketball. Rationale is there's projected expenses for supporting the Special Olympics basketball program and related hosting costs totaling $4,274.40. They are exploring grant options to offset the program cost. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Special Olympics basketball program. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Colbert, supported by Mr. Knox. Any comments? Any discussion? No? All right. Call the roll.
All right. Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Venatelli is a yes. Motion passes.
All right. Next item is a field trip for DECA International Competition. DECA will compete in Atlanta, Georgia, April 23rd to the 29th, taking 11 students with 2 chaperones. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the DECA International Competition in Atlanta, Georgia on April 23rd through the 29th, 2026. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
I'll support.
I think that was Mr. Powers.
Yes, Mr. Powers.
Was that you?
Support was.
It was.
It was. All right. Any discussion? All right. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Venatelli is a yes. Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, next field trip is Scotland and Ireland tour 2027. Chef Larissa Popa would like students to travel to Scotland and Ireland for students to learn through traveling, being immersed in history and culture through local cuisine, culture, and historical sites. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Scotland and Ireland tour of 2027.
I would like to make a motion that we approve this field trip as presented, where the number of chaperones to be decided will remain a 10-to-1 ratio as described in the packet.
I'll support.
All right, a motion by Mr. Vinatieri, supported by Mr. Covert. Any discussion?
kind of jealous I can't go on the trip with these guys. It looks like a lot of fun. I had the pleasure of going on a British Isles trip with my wife a couple years ago. Ireland, Scotland, Ireland, England. And I have to say there's nothing quite like the Scottish countryside. Very windy. A lot of good stuff to see. Castle of Edinburgh actually was conquered by the English, then reconquered by the Scottish, then reconquered back by the Scottish, back and forth, back and forth. Actually, it was conquered by sheep at one point. I'm not even kidding. That's in the whole like tour. If you go in there, it talks about how the sheep actually took it over at one point in time. So a lot of history. Very excited for these individuals, these lucky students and parents. Hopefully you get a whole bunch that can sign up to go. That's all I got.
Might be looking for chaperones.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that I appreciate Ms. Popa Jenkins' thoroughness in what she sent in with this. It's, we get these field trip applications all the time, and sometimes it's hard to understand what they're going to be doing, what the value is to students and staff, and this is a ton of great information. So I really appreciate the time she put into submitting this and taking the time to explain to us exactly what the students are going to get out of it, because it's pretty easy to approve something like this when you're given this amount of information.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other discussion, questions?
Yes, I was taking a look at this, and to be clear, I support this and I'm going to vote for it. But I kind of coughed when I came to the $4,300 price tag. And we have a line item on our permission slip that asks for instructional purpose. And we really outline all of the educational benefits of a trip like this. Yet we don't quite talk about how we're going to mitigate the prohibitive cost of such a trip. I mean, if the educational outcome is so great, maybe we could spend just a little bit of time talking about how we can help the students that might not be able to afford to go on a trip like this.
Yeah, basically we've run this trip, not exactly this trip, but the overseas trip in previous years. So the process has always been basically that they have the opportunity, then they present it, and then we work on fundraisers the entire year in order to offset those costs for students.
Is it safe to say we'll see a lot of events at the Shoreliner?
Absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. We all like chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other discussion? Questions? Comments? All right. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Vinatelli is a yes. Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberg,
Yes.
Ms. Knox.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Another field trip for middle school chair camp. Middle school chair camp will take approximately 60 students with 7 chaperones to the Bavarian Inn in Frankenmuth on August 4th and 5th, 2026. I do have that pronunciation down pretty well. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the middle school chair camp to Frankenmuth August 4th and 5th, 2026. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Okay, motion by Ms. Knox.
Second.
Mr. Covert. Second. Nope.
It's Mr. Powers.
All right.
I can't tell the difference either.
Any discussion? No, I'd call the roll.
Okay. Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli is a yes. Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Richards.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Next field trip is varsity and JV camps. Varsity will take 18 students, 2 chaperones, July 12th through 14th to the Bavarian Inn. JV will take 45 students with 5 chaperones, July 26th through the 28th to Kalahari Resort. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the varsity and JV chair camps. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Knox, supported by Mr. Sunnyberger. Any discussion? Oh, good, call the roll.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli is a yes, Ms. Brookmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, last field trip, BPA, the Business Professionals of America National Leadership Conference. The BPA will travel with 4 students and 2 chaperones to Nashville, Tennessee, May 6th to the 10th, 2026 for the National Leadership Conference. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the BPA National Leadership Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, May 6th to the 10th, 2026. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, motion by Ms. Knox, support by Mr. Powers. Any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Okay, Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli is a yes, Ms. Brookmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, moving on. Award recommendation. The first award recommendation is boiler and HW pumps Phase 2. Anchor Bay School District has received bids for Phase 2 of our boiler and hot water pump project. Phase 2 includes Middle School North, Middle School South, Ashley, and Aldred. It is the intention to have the projects completed by September 2026. It is a recommendation to award Phase 2 boiler hot water pump project as follows. Goyette Mechanical in the amount of $1,538,825 for Middle School North and Middle School South. Detroit Boiler in the amount of $841,712 for Ashley and Aldred. Centric fees for this project total $505,842.34. Owner held contingency of $197,402.67. Total for Phase 2 boiler and HW pumps is $3,083,782.01. It is recommended the Board of Education approve Phase 2 boiler and HW pumps in the amount of $3,083,782.01 as presented. Jeez. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
All right, Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Colbert. Any discussion?
I don't remember. I think we, oh, sorry. Mike, I know we spoke about this during the building committee, but what are we doing with the old boilers once we remove them?
I believe they're scrapped.
Just scrapped? Is there any way to, yep.
Section included that basically any scrap value whatsoever would get credited back, that money would be credited back to the district. So they have to provide FOIA and or questions would then provide what scrap value will provide documentation. Some of those, be able to get those boilers out, they will have to be cut up, right? So it'll be something where there's nothing but scrap value versus selling a boiler to half, which is not gonna happen. So that is in the language that was included in the request for proposal, and we did address that during the native resource.
Okay, and just for my information, why, I guess, is it due to the age of the boilers themselves that it's degraded over time, that it has to be cut out in pieces, or is it just logistics of removing the boilers as to why it needs to be cut up? Logistics, okay. Makes sense. I think I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All right. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli is a yes, Ms. Brookmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Richards.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next award recommendation is teacher devices for Lighthouse and Middle School South. The award recommendation is to refresh teacher devices for Middle School South and Lighthouse Elementary. The pricing reflected is inclusive of the device, software, docking station, and a 5-year warranty. Administration recommends the purchase of 45 laptops and 20 desktops for Lighthouse Elementary. Middle School South will receive 75 laptops and 36 desktops. The total price of the award is $256,383.92 to be paid out of the bond. The devices will be purchased through REMC on a statewide contract that has already been bid out. Am I out of order?
No, you're in order.
All right.
In our packet.
Okay. Thank you. Finally. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the award of $256,383.92 to be paid out of the bond. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion by Ms. Knox
I'll second.
and supported by Mr. Sunnyberger. Any discussion in regard to teacher devices?
I have a question. The ones that we're replacing, how old are the ones that we are replacing?
Tim would be able to give you the exact on that, but they're
figured.
probably 5 to 7 years at least.
I'm just curious. Okay,
2018.
so yeah,
18
even
years.
longer
Old
than,
enough to vote.
Yes.
thank you, Tim.
Was this recommendation brought before the technology committee?
We talked about before about the devices that we're going to purchase. And so this is just continuation of the devices that were selected.
Okay. And then how many other devices do we have in the district that also need to be updated?
So Tim could probably give you a more information.
Yeah,
We're working through. Yeah.
I'll let Tim speak to it, but Tim and I have worked on this, and really what we've tried to devise is rather than replacing the entire district's devices at one point, what we're trying to do is get into a rolling schedule where every year we're replacing a portion of those devices across the district, such that after a period of 5 to 6 years, we will have replaced every single device, and we'll just keep that kind of cycle rolling so that we don't run into having devices that are, beyond their useful life.
Same thing you've been doing with buses, right?
Very much like that, yes.
So our plan is to replace all the technology every 6 years.
Well,
It's a rolling.
it's a rolling, so we wouldn't probably bring Middle School South or Lighthouse Elementary, the two buildings that we have before you tonight, back for 5 to 6 years. Some of that, I'll be very honest with you, is going to be somewhat like everything, money dependent. And we'll have to take a look at, as technology changes, it may be a different cycle, but that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of it is we structure the bond so we could get hopefully two device refreshes as part of it. And then after that it would, by doing this, we'll have it smoothed out enough that we could hopefully replace it. If we had to take it out of the general fund going forward, we could potentially do that.
In fact, our last series, which is just over $1 million, is exclusively for that last refresh of tech.
Okay.
Yep.
And 6 years is typical. That's if budget's going well, we can replace it all that time. What if budgets are tight? How much can we stretch the tech? I know we're replacing these for 18 years. I think that's probably a bit of a stretch. What would be
we were able to keep these with last ones because we had updated a couple of the other buildings. So with that, we were able to kind of rob some of the, memory and put them in there to get these other two buildings, through the year. So we're able to scrape some of the stuff, make it work for right now.
Okay.
But yeah, typically it's 5 to 6 years.
5 to 6 years? And then if you did have to stretch it responsibly, what would that be? Maybe like 8 to 10 years?
No, 6 to 7 years is pushing it. I mean,
6
that's,
to
yeah,
7.
I mean, that's just the devices just don't last that long.
Got it.
Everything else.
Thank you.
Yeah, with the advancements in software and so forth, a lot of times, the hardware won't even run the software because it's just not powerful enough.
Gotcha.
All right. Any other questions? Go ahead and call the roll, please.
Okay. Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger?
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Covert?
Yes.
Mr. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli is a yes, and motion passes.
All right. The next award recommendation is for network switching. The rationale is to approve the contract with People Driven Technology of Byron Center, Michigan, in the amount of $284,311.50 for fiber optic network cabling and network electronics to be paid for with the 2022 bond proceeds and ultimately partially reimbursed by the federal E-rate program. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the contract with People Driven Technology in the amount of $284,311.50. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Covert. Any discussion?
Yes, can we have just a little explanation of what that is? That's not really my wheelhouse.
Improvement for the internet for the building. So that quickly going on the camera, use today, everything is the backbone for the building. So we were able to close most buildings last year. We exceeded our E-rate money, so we were waiting for this year to do the high school. So again, we get, depending on how everything comes back, we get anywhere from 40–50% back from E-rate, sometimes higher. So that's why we waited to do the high school.
Thank you, Tim.
And that matched with, all of, I don't, you can't see them, but the.
No, I can see it from here.
Yes, but our previous class weren't necessarily running.
No.
All the cameras that we have. Now, both of those, as well as other things are coming onto the network and those require greater networking capacity.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? Yes or no? Call the roll, please.
Good. Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Ventile is a yes, Ms. Brookmeyer. Okay, motion passes.
Great. All right, final word recommendation tonight is the bond phase 3 change orders. The rationale of the change orders proposed tonight are a follow-up from the January board meeting where the board approved the initial projects at Ashley, Neldra, and South. At that time, the board also approved potential future awards and projects for these buildings totaling approximately $9.7 million plus a 10% contingency to add the additional classrooms at each elementary, a separate bus loop at Ashley, and a fire suppression and lighting upgrades at Middle School South. This set of change orders has been negotiated with contractors who were awarded the lowest bids in January as an extension of that pricing to complete the additional work at Ashley and Neldra. The request is to approve a construction award, $8,488,676 with a 10% contingency of $848,867 for a total of $9,337,543. This amount will reserve approximately $1.3 million plus a 10% contingency for lighting and fire suppression system at South. That will be brought to the board in April. It is recommended that the board approve the awards for $9,337,543. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Covert. Any discussion? Then call the roll.
Good. Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Ventile is a yes, Ms. Brookmeyer.
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right. Next item on the agenda is board comments and points of pride. Mr. Sunnyberger, would you like to start us off tonight? Sure.
I would like to give a shout out, if I can, to the Anchor Bay Band Boosters. They're having a stand-up comedy night. Tickets are $25 and it's at Little Camille's on the Green, April 11th, 2026. Show starts at 8. You can also buy yourself some dinner and some drinks beforehand if you want to. And Mr. Fenton is going to MC, so we get to have a good laugh at him if we want to.
Sounds like a good night. Thank you very much, Ms. Covert. That's a few. Mr. Powers.
I wanted to take an opportunity to thank our paraprofessionals. They had a leadership meeting, I believe it was last week, could have been the week before, but it was within the last couple of weeks. I attended with a couple other board members, and they do incredibly important work. And one thing that really kind of struck me is, they may only be here anywhere from 2 to 6 hours a day, but their work is important and they're incredibly passionate about the work that they do. And one thing that just really came out of that meeting was a real sense of frustration over our inability to adequately staff their positions. And we've seen it. We started the year off with SAC not being adequately staffed. And now we're having problems. We're 2/3 of the way through the year, and it seems like we're having problems with lunch paras. And it's beyond frustrating for me, and I can only imagine how frustrated everybody else is over the fact that if you look at the resources that our school district has, we should not have this problem. We should be able to adequately staff those positions. So, what's done this year is done. We're 2/3 of the way through this year, but next school year is only 4 to 5 months away. And so, Mr. President, I just think this needs to be an area of focus going forward. And I don't know. I don't sit here today with the answer. I certainly don't know what the answer is, but I think we should have a goal in place to kick off the next school year fully staffed. I think it's appropriate. I think it would be a boost to morale. And I think our staff deserves it. Our students deserve it. And quite frankly, if I'm a taxpayer in the community, and I made this point when we were having the SAC issues at the beginning of the year, if you've taken enough of my money to amass the amount of money we have on our books, we should be delivering on the basics like staffing. And so I think it needs to be a goal to kick off the next school year fully staffed in those positions. I'm typically not a big fan of adding bureaucracy to anything, but whether it's a special committee, a task force, whether it's bringing in a consultant, we need different ideas. We need to do something different. We are it's Groundhog Day, for lack of a better word, and it's time for a new plan. It's time for a new approach, and it's time for new ideas. And I'm not expecting miracles for this school year, but I again, looking forward, I think the plan should be to have something in place where there's a plan, we can track it, there's accountability, and we can start off next year on the right foot, fully staffed in those positions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Knox.
I just want to say this is my favorite meeting of the year because we always get to recognize our Kaleidoscope winners and our teachers of the year. And it always reminds me of the dynamic and passionate teachers and coaches and students. And we got to recognize a student athlete tonight that represent Anchor Bay. And it's just really nice to see our programs growing, like DECA, the introduction of, unified basketball, and even people who were, when I started almost 6 years ago, they're taking a grander leadership role now. And that's really wonderful to see, especially when, we had someone who's a former student who's now in a leadership and teaching role. And it's really remarkable to see. So that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Knox. Mr. Vancelli?
Pass.
Pass. Ms. Berkmeyer?
I also attended the meeting we were invited to with the parapros. I echo, a lot of the similar sentiments. I think for me, another piece that I walked away with was, and similarly, it goes along with the staffing, but you know, the feeling that particularly the parapros that are in the special ed realm, and CI and special ed dedicated classrooms, you know, the dedication they have, but also the feeling that they have where, you know, they feel if they take a day off for a personal day or they're ill or anything like that, the feeling that they know there won't be a sub in their room. Because, you know, it's difficult to get para subs as it is. And, you know, the shuffle within a building, you know, it's an uncomfortable place to want to jump into a classroom that has higher needs, and if you're not trained or if you know you've never done it. But ultimately, also like most of those paras, all the ones that were present, that said, you know, it's they're like it. They are completely happy, overjoyed to be there. They are extremely dedicated and enjoy what they do, and I am very thankful for them. I would like us to maybe figure out another way for those individuals. You know, I don't feel like any of our staff should have to feel that way. That if they need a day or they need to sub or they need to be ill, that they feel like they're kind of leaving their colleague out to dry, you know, and that we can't get somebody else in there. A thought I had was, you know, training more of our staff to be able to feel equipped to want to step into one of those buildings, or doing something along the way when we talk about contract to kind of incentivize or make it a better you know, more incentivized for those people to get subs in their positions, because I don't want anyone to feel as if, you know, their own needs of needing to take a day off or for their own health or anything like that is, you know, causing somebody else distress because they can't do that. So that was kind of the other piece that I took away, but I really enjoyed attending the meeting and kind of hearing the different perspectives. It's nice to do that. And so I appreciated the invite. I also wanted to congratulate Yvonne Jane as the DECA state president. Very, you know, dedicated individual. It wasn't that long ago, for a couple years, that I was president. I mean, I can remember we were doing numerous field trip requests where there was only like one sole person going to many of these DECA competitions. And you know, also kudos to Mr. Yono. He has taken that program, and I mean, today, as he presented to us, we had 45 students going to the state championship, when maybe 2-3 years ago at most, we were sending one student, you know, to the state convention. So he has grown this program, done amazing things with the students in this amount of time, short time that he's been there. And I appreciate all of the folks that kind of build our programs and put in a lot of uncompensated work to do those things for our kids, and to head up the field trips, do the things that the students enjoy and the experiences that they'll take away from high school and remember forever. So I want to just thank Mr. Yono for all that he's done in this program, because just kind of watching it through the years, being on the board, grow to the level that it has been nothing short of amazing. Other than that, I think that is all that I have for tonight.
Thank you very much. I'll try and keep mine brief. The 2026 Summer SAC and Preschool opened on March 20. The 2026 Summer SAC and Preschool registration opened up on March 24th for Anchor Bay families. Open registration starts on March 26th. Middle School Tennis Club is looking for middle school students grade 5 through 8 to join their club. Practice dates start in April. Contact Darren Weir if you're interested. Tonight, congratulations to all the Kaleidoscope winners. Great job. Although it wasn't the outcome we all wanted, I just want to congratulate the Anchor Bay varsity girls basketball team on a great season. It was a fantastic season. I went to a bunch of games. Unfortunately, I was out of town when they lost to Frazier. Congratulations to the Anchor Bay Student Council that attended the MASC States Leadership Conference and rewarded the Star School an Exceptional Project Award. Mr. Steinberger mentioned already, the Anchor Bay Band Boosters hosting Comedy Night on April 11th. Doors open at 7. Congratulations to the Anchor Bay High School and South Chorus that placed Division 1 excellent rating at the MSV MAD 16 Festival. The Career Pathways and Skilled Trades Open House is April 13th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the high school. Congratulations to Middle School North Capital of the Month, Mary Jo Bates. Mary Jo is a true leader. She was a Pathfinder with 4th grade math and now continues to lead 5th grade LA. Her students are happy and motivated with her learning. Thank you for everything you do. Kindergarten registration is open for the 26-27 school year. Kindergarten transition night for Great Oaks is April 22nd at 5:30. Lighthouse is the 29th at 5 p.m. Ashley is the 30th at 5 p.m. Naldra and McCants are May 6th at 5 and followed by Lottie on May 7th at 5:30. Congratulations to the Anchor Bay Winter Guard on 2 first-place performances. One was at Troy Athens, and the other one was at Carmen Ainsworth High School in Flint. Great job. My points of pride this month would be our Teachers of the Year, elementary, Kelly Surmark, middle school, Lena Kinninger, and high school, Catherine Engelhardt. Thank you for everything you do. And that's all that I have. Any legislative update?
There is no change in the budget. The House was supposed to have their budget proposal out. They have now postponed that until after the spring break. It's right now they're targeting April 11th, and the Senate will follow shortly after that. Otherwise, there's really nothing else that's kind of making any movement towards passage.
Fantastic. Any board committee updates? I think we kind of talked a lot about finance.
The building committee met. We discussed the additional items that were voted on today with regards to excess money in the bond. We discussed implementation, energy efficiency, and basically it'd just be a repetition of what we discussed today already.
All right. Good on finance. All right. I did ask Mr. Jankowski for policy to pull our vaping disciplinary language just to kind of go over it for policy. So just kind of want to review it, what it is and where we're at and how we compare to other districts and things like that too. So
Curriculum committee also met.
Technology.
Thank you. That probably why I can't remember what we discussed. We had a disciplinary hearing in there as well.
It was devices, and we discussed devices. We
Yes.
discussed the summer
Thanks.
grant program as well.
We also got information on some upcoming e-pass systems that.
Yes. Now I remember. Yes.
And I can tell you, I work in a different district. I haven't been in an Anchor Bay hallway in a long time. But the district I work at, it is just a parade of students walking through the halls during class time. And it's bad. So I don't know if we're that bad, but I think an e-pass, some sort of e-pass would be beneficial to keeping track of students and making sure they're where they need to be and not wandering the halls.
And there was a counterpart that came before that because the e-pass isn't.
Yeah, it
even out
was
yet.
for the devices so teachers can monitor what students are doing on those
Yeah,
devices. So
monitor when they're on their Chrome. Thank you. Now I'm remembering. When they're on their Chromebooks, the teacher can actually shut down a tab, see what they're looking at, things like that. So I'm sure that'll be presented to the board shortly. That was it for technology.
Thank you. Mr. Steinberg, so the district you're in, there's no e-pass right now. There's no electronic.
No, there's no e-pass. We have policies in place. Teachers don't follow them, which when I'm doing hallway duty makes it very difficult, but no e-passes as of yet. But we're about ready to roll one out. So if we roll it out soon, I'll let you know how it goes.
Thank you. All right. And I guess that is it. All right.
We have to adjourn.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
adjourn. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
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 Aye, everybody, come on.
I never heard the motion.
I'll make a
Oh,
motion.
yes.
Make a
All right,
motion.
thank you,
Sure.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
I'll second it.
Okay. Ms. Knox makes the motion, second.
No,
by-
Mr. Covert made the motion. I second.
And then who's second and Ms. Knox seconded it?
No, Covert, second by Mr. Powers.
Okay.
Yeah, say aye.
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 All right. Aye, aye.